If you want to network with millionaires, multi-millionaires, and even decamillionaires, I'm going to show you my special strategy and how I've been able to do this for myself and gain some of the knowledge that's not readily available for people in the public, and how you can do it for yourself, no matter what level you're at. If you're just starting out, how to network with people who are a little bit better than you. And if you're, on your way, how do you network with that next level to really blow your mind and show you what is possible? So my name is Patrick Dang. I've been an entrepreneur and salesperson for quite a number of years now. So if you're joining my channel for the first time, welcome. This is where we talk about how to generate sales, generate income, make money, also make money online, especially using marketing and sales skill sets. So if that's something you are interested in, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe, because I'm gonna be dropping hot videos every single week. Now, talking about networking, right? So how exactly do you go about networking? The first is, when you're networking, you have to have a goal. What is your goal when you meet other people? Sometimes it's to do business, right? You're trying to generate sales for your company, your agency, whatever. Other times it's really just opening your mind. Maybe you don't know what's going on. You're new to an industry and you just want to meet people. Maybe you have nothing to offer yet, right? But maybe you want to understand who they are. Maybe you can provide value just to be around that circle. So I would say for networking in general, the beginning for me is just being around the circle, because sometimes you don't know what you need. You don't know what you want until you understand what kind of people you're dealing with, so that you can create opportunities, right? It's like, for example, for me, one of the things that have been very helpful, especially for me in the crypto space, is that I get to meet a lot of entrepreneurs by joining different clubs, buying different NFTs to get access to these clubs, having a friend that invites me to a dinner that has a bunch of other entrepreneurs who invite me to other things. And so the list goes on. And so my goal here in the beginning was really just to meet people, to network with them, then to maybe work on something with them in the future. And then as I got to meet more people, I changed my goal to, there's two specific things. Number one is I have a particular service that I'm trying to sell to them. And if they're interested, they would be a great fit, because I want to work with very talented entrepreneurs. So that is my goal. And number two is, how do you provide value so that they actually want to work with you, right? So providing value is, for me, it's helping people with marketing, helping them with sales, helping them with story, narrative, and helping them get exposure by putting them on my YouTube channel. And so when I go to these things, I kind of have those things in mind, right? And so the first key for you guys is, what is it that you want? Do you just want to learn? Do you just want to be in the room to soak information? Do you want to sell? And then if you want all these things, think about, what can you bring to the table, right? Are you an expert sales person and you want to sell their product? Do you want to meet like Iman Gadzhi or something like that and work at one of his companies and do B2B sales for selling his online courses, right? Like, what do you want to do? So whatever it is, have a clear picture in mind. So when you meet that person, you can have conversations, and eventually they'll ask you like, so like, what are you doing, man? Like, how can I help you? And then that is your time to kind of tell them what you're looking for. Oh, I'm looking for these kind of companies I want to provide my service to. Any chance you or anyone you know might need something like that? They'll be like, oh yeah, my buddy over there runs this. Let me introduce you, right? And that's literally how it goes when it comes to networking. Recently I went to Hong Kong for some crypto events, right? Like Forked and like whole Bitcoin week, right? And so the way I did it was, there are a couple people I knew ahead of time that were going to be there. And so what I would do is I'll text them and be like, yo, I'm coming to Hong Kong, right? So that's like a couple people I can meet. Number two is, go to places where a lot of people congregate, right? So if you're going to a conference, that's perfect, because you get to basically like speed date almost, right? You get to like speed talk to people. You can meet like 50 people in one day if you're really out and about and you really get to know them in a very intimate way. So I would say, have people in mind that you want to connect with, because those people will invite you to stuff and introduce you to more people. Number two is, go to the event. So sometimes I'll go to an event and I'll be like just walking around. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? I'm Patrick. Then they'll be like, oh, hi, I'm Samantha, right? And then you just start a conversation, and I would just say like, so like, what are you doing here, right? And they would tell you about what they do. They ask you what you do, and then you try to see if there's synergies of like how you might be able to work together, how you might be able to refer them business if you can, or how they might be able to refer you business, right? And the name of the game really is understanding that it's okay for nothing to happen. It's okay to make a friendship, a relationship, the start of something. And then maybe down the line, as you get to know each other more and maybe an opportunity comes, they'll bring you in. There are times where I met somebody, just randomly. I would say like, hey guys, I'm going to Japan. Hit me up in the DMs if you're around. Someone hit me up. We had coffee. And then a couple months later, they actually got me a client for a particular service. And then that was a good thing. Sometimes you never know where these relationships go, especially for smaller communities, because if you're known as that guy that's really good at XYZ, then people will come to you. So like for me in crypto, and especially NFTs and Web3, I'm known as somewhat of a YouTuber, a content creator. So when anybody has a project that they want to promote, they usually come on my YouTube channel. And then from there, I get to soak game. I get to ask them a lot of things, because most of the time they'll be more successful than I am, but I'm the one interviewing them. So I have access to them, and I get to learn as much from that interview and then talking to them off camera, right? And so that is a form of networking. Being a content creator definitely has a lot of benefits. I'll tell you from personal experience, right? Even though you're not that famous, as long as you're kind of famous, people treat you a little bit differently. You're like, oh my God, like you're so famous, right? You have 1,000 followers. And even if you have like a couple thousand followers, people will still consider you like a small KOL or influencer. And that does actually go a long way. Let me teach you one more trick on networking on how to invite yourselves into special dinners. Right? So these are what I feel are one of the most valuables, where you're in a dinner, maybe there's 5 people, there's 10 people, and this is not at a conference, right? This is just private friends of friends. And this is where like the real alpha or the real knowledge is shared, right? Inside information on what's going on with this company, that company, what are people planning? All this information is actually done in private settings, right? And so how I would do it is basically I would go to an event, meet everybody, some people I know, what's up, da da da, and I'd just be like, hey man, we're like, what are you guys doing tonight? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, we're actually thinking of going to this hot pot place. You want to come? I'll be like, what time? Sure, you know, and they'll be like, yeah, 7 o'clock, see you there. And that's pretty much it, right? I think if you are just a kind person, you're a likable person, you're somewhat talkative, you're not someone that looks like a scammer or someone that's trying to get, but you're just trying to have a good time, and people kind of think of you like just a good vibe, and even if they have nothing to take from you, they just want you around. That's a very easy way to get into dinners, right? I remember one person was like inviting me to all these things, introducing me to this and that, and they're like, oh, by the way, like, what do you even do again? If they like your vibe, they like your energy, they just like the way you present yourself, they will actually go out their way to introduce you to all their friends and all that because of social status, right? Because if you are perceived as a high value person or someone that's just likable, just to keep at a baseline, then they look good when they introduce you to other people. Assuming that you're not a scammer or something like that, then it's all good. So if you could present yourself in that way, which is kind of what I teach in these YouTube videos on how to talk and all these things, body language, tonality, you put them all together, it does create a vibe, then people will literally invite you to anything. And so it's very powerful, not to be underestimated. Like for me, sometimes I get a little lazy where I kind of want to just stay home and work on whatever I'm working on. I don't want to talk to people, but I really don't like that habit for myself. And that's why I try to break out of that shell and try to meet as many people as I can when I can. Because when you're stuck in your own zone, you're only thinking in one direction. And sometimes someone might say something that inspires you to think a little differently. That might change the whole trajectory of your life. So keep an open mind, keep an open heart, be a likable person, and you're basically more than halfway there. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments if you want more of these like life stories, if you want me to go more in depth on these stories on how I'm able to execute on these networking strategies. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and I'm going to see you in the next one.